there's this thing called LinkedIn. I don't know if you ever heard of it.
Yeah, he's the one that freed the slaves.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's like a social media platform for business. It's like it's for people who got nothing, for people who don't really want to work and they want to goof around on the internet all day, they can go to LinkedIn and it's like they can pretend it's work and it's like Facebook.
What?
Yeah.
I thought of something really funny today, and I'm trying to pick my brain.
So I
Uh,
I signed up for it years ago and I forgot about it, and now that I'm looking for a job and everybody's like in sales uses this stupid thing, I decided, well, maybe I should look this thing back up and make sure. So I go on there today after trying to get my password reset, which I didn't even really know how to do. And I had like 100 people who had requested to connect with me. It was like
what?
like a list of messages like a mile long. All business people I know, they probably thought, oh man, this guy's just blowing me off. Like for 2 years, I've been blowing these people off. I didn't even know about it because my old email was on there that doesn't even work, so I don't get any notifications or nothing. And so, yeah, I clicked on that. I was like, what? People were like writing me shit like, hey, John, what's up? And congratulations on your work anniversary and happy birthday. And it was like freaking 100, 200 things, 100 requests just to connect with me that I had just blown off. And I was like, well, I didn't
That's
know,
funny.
I just, because I'm looking for a job and someone told me, hey, you should probably go on there and update all that information. And a couple of the companies that I had applied to had checked my LinkedIn. It said, these people checked your LinkedIn. It's like, dude, I had no idea anything about any of that.
Wow.
Yeah, so then I was like, so they probably looked at my LinkedIn and thought, oh, this guy's a freaking moron. We don't want to hire him.
Because he doesn't even know what he's doing.
Yeah, so I went on there today and updated it all and made it all look like it was something real and replied to friends requests that were like a year old. They probably freaked out when they see that a couple dudes I knew personally, and I was like, dude,
Yeah.
I didn't even know about this. Sorry, I was like, I was embarrassed.
And it's a chat site kind of for people at work. Make
It
it look
looks
like you're
just
working.
like Facebook, but work related. It's
Work related.
Yeah, it's got like
Okay.
the news feed that scrolls on all the stuff you're doing. It's got your friends, or instead of your friends, they're called your connections. It's almost just exactly like Facebook. Notifications, messaging. I might as
And
well
it's
just
just,
be Facebook, but it's just called LinkedIn.
uh, that's probably better than Facebook because it's actually productive.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's you could see like when a guy goes to like an expo or a show and he sets up his booth, he'll put a picture of his booth on
Right.
there, like, here I am at the
Huh.
such and such expo.
Man, maybe I should get on that.
Yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, I blew it off for years, even though I signed up for it for like 2, 3 years, maybe even 4 years ago. I signed up for it. I'm probably one of the
Because
first dudes who signed up for LinkedIn, but that just never used it for like 5 years. It was like so weird. Then I'm looking at people and they've got like 500 connections and stuff, and I got like 84 connections now. So like, I didn't say yes to everybody though, like who wanted to connect with me. Some of them I looked at and I was like, nah, I don't like that guy. It's like I remember that dude. I don't like him.
the problem is we can't fix this country. You ever see there's a show with this guy, I can't think of his name, but he's like a scientist or something, and he explains why shit works and why shit doesn't work or whatever. But he was explaining the fact that despite what any politicians may tell you about trying to bring back the economy we had in the 50s, it'll never happen because the industry just won't allow it anymore. It's just, here's an example they used a cell phone. They're like, the problem with us trying to bring cell phones back to America, the manufacturing process, is that all the distributors and so forth are real close to China, and it's way too expensive to ship those parts here to
You
assemble it.
can't even buy the machines here that make the
Right.
shit because there's such a high demand over there for the machinery. A guy was going to build cameras here in my industry,
Mm-hmm.
and the backlog on the machinery to build the components was 2 years out. He couldn't even buy the machines. Even if he wanted to build the shit here, he couldn't do it. He told me. He said we tried to do it, and there's no way to. There's such a high demand over there for the machines, and they've made such an inroad into the industries that they prefer to sell the machines to those people because you're like way down on the list of importance. And when there's a company that's bought 50 machines and they want to order 2 of them, and you're calling up and trying to order 10, who do you think they're going to give them to? They're not even going to give them to you. So you can't even we've gotten so far away from the ability to do that that we don't even have the connections it takes to pull it off.
Well, what this show was saying was, here's where we're screwing up. Because the cell phones are made in China, and now there's no way we can compete with that because they have the cheap labor, they have closer access to the materials needed to build the thing. Well, it turns out that the phone itself, the assembly of the phone, and all that part of the phone industry is a small portion compared to the actual tech part of it.
Yeah.
And what we failed to do here in America was provide adequate schooling to teach people the tech part of it, because that's the part that's left in this country, not the assembly. So these politicians keep promising bringing jobs back to America, and they say, yeah, we're gonna change the trade agreements and whatever to bring this industry back to America. Well, that's not going to happen. What they should be saying is, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make inexpensive education available so that you can get a job in America that exists in America. That's where we're fucking up.
Yeah.
We're trying to backtrack to thinking that we need to bring these manufacturing jobs back to America. No, we don't. We need to make it affordable enough for our next generations to go to school and get the job that runs everything. But that's not happening. College is so fucking expensive now. I mean, people are juggling. They're like, why would I get a degree if all I'm going to be doing is working at McDonald's?
Yeah, it's hard.
You know what I mean?
It's hard.
The jobs are there. The problem is the education's not there. We have plenty of work to do here in America. So what we're doing instead is we're importing talent from other countries that knows computers and knows the tech industry to take those jobs too. So we're literally, by being lazy, I would say our government's lazy.
Yeah.
Because they're not educating the future generations on what jobs are available.
They're not providing any resource for the people whatsoever. They've gone past that. They've become just a bunch of infighting people that go to work every day like anybody. It's like you said, the people are lazy and don't want to learn because they're worried about going to McDonald's and working. Our government officials are the same way. They don't do their job anymore. They're lazy. They're not helping us, or they're not a resource for us to get better anymore.
Right.
They're just not. They're not that anymore. It's like if you want to go, if you think the government's going to help America get better, that ship sailed. Your Mitch McConnell's, he don't care about that. He's a stupid redneck who doesn't have a brain in his fucking head. That dude's dumb as a day is long. All he cares about is fighting with the Democrats and trying to win another battle, and not get anything done. What has that guy done?
Right.
He has done absolutely nothing. But people keep voting him in.
I hate to even look at his face. Hillary Clinton.
He's the worst. He's probably.
I can't stand them.
If you go in history in the future, we're going to look back on history. He's going to be one of the worst Americans that we've ever put in politics, because he did nothing except create infighting, and every day that's what he goes to work to do. His main job is to create a fight between the Democrats and the Republicans. That's all he cares about.
I saw a thing on Facebook. I don't know if this is true, and it was Bernie Sanders, and it says he's going to be running for president. Okay, again, and I'm like, if that's true or not, let's just say it's true. Here's what I have to say about Bernie Sanders. Hasn't he been in politics for decades? And our country's gone down the fucking tubes. So Why would I vote for some fucking asshole? He's like, here's what we need to do. Well, what have you been doing?
Yeah.
You've been a politician this whole time. You haven't done a fucking thing. You got a lot of great ideas. Yeah, so do I.
Let's hear one idea Mitch McConnell ever came up with to help America.
Right.
Bernie Sanders. You'd have to search really hard and far.
They should say Bernie Sanders. Where have you been? Nobody ever even fucking heard of your ass until Hillary ran for president. So you had no impact on the United States whatsoever, as far as I'm concerned. You were just another puppet in the puppet show talking shit and not doing a goddamn thing. And now you want us to vote you in as president because you have good ideas? Why didn't you ever try to implement any of this shit the whole time you've been in politics, asshole? Mm-hmm. They could say, oh, well, he probably did, and people cock-blocked him and whatever. Bullshit.
There's probably some truth to that.
Well, there's some truth to that, I know, but I tell people, Obama never did a damn thing. And they're like, yeah, that's because Congress kept blocking everything he tried to do. I said, so isn't that proof that we don't really need them motherfuckers? Because if everything he tried to do got blocked and nothing changed, seems like an insignificant role to me. We put this dude on a pedestal to do nothing. Let's just be honest about it. He got elected because he was black. And it was the next up-and-coming thing to do. It's like, hey, we got a black guy for a change.
Yeah.
There was never anyone that ran that had a chance prior to him. So they're like, let's just do this. It's something new. That's what it seemed like to me. It didn't seem like we voted him in because he was the best candidate. It seemed like we voted him in because he's the new face of the president, He'll go down in history as maybe being the only black president ever. Who knows? There might be another one, but
the problem is we're in Kentucky, where Mitch McConnell's from. We have like the lowest education in the country, and these are the people voting him in. So they don't care that he hasn't done anything because they don't have a brain in their head on their own to know any better. It's like if he were running for office in New York, for example, he would never win because they got brains there, and they're like going to be like, dude, you haven't done shit in 20 years. Why are we still voting you in? It's the only reason he can do it is because he's doing it from Kentucky.
I saw an old newspaper article. It could be fake. I always have to say that because you never know any day. But it was like Trump back when he was younger saying, if I ran for president, I would be a Republican because they're morons and I could say anything and they would vote me in. Now they're trying to show this now the sad part is this. These morons that vote him in, they're still going to be morons even if they read that article. It's just not going to sink in, Right. There's like a portion of their brain doesn't absorb certain information of realities.
Well, they live in like an us and them world. They only care about the fact that it's us and I belong to this thing and now I'm proud to belong to it. They don't care about what the outcome is or what the job that people are doing. That has nothing to do with their decision making. In California, if two Democrats were the two top winning people in the primary, they run against each other. It's not necessarily a Democrat going to run against a Republican. It's
right.
So that's how it should be. The two people that are the best people should be running against each other. It should have nothing to do with what political party.
I think there should be an age limit.
Yeah. You should see how many articles. It says
60 years old.
I'm reading right now. It says Kentucky dies while Mitch McConnell does what? There's a whole article in here about it.
What does he do there in Kentucky?
Nothing. We have the largest advancement of black lung disease here.
What's his role?
He's the head of the Republican Party in the Senate. He decides.
Really?
He decides what we vote on or if we vote on it. So he's decided for years that we're not going to vote on anything. He's just decided that they're just going to do nothing there in Congress. Especially
He's an
when,
asshole.
oh, he's one of
He's
the
just
worst
too
Americans. If you
fucking
go look at the
old.
articles people have written about him, they're saying he's one of the worst Americans we've ever had at any time.
He should retire. 60 years old should be the cap. Like, you look at this
It should
little
be
old
two
lady.
terms. When you're a senator, it should be 2 terms and you go home.
Who's
That's
that
simple.
old fart who's in the Supreme Court? That little teeny lady. Selly or something is her name. That bitch should have been gone a long time ago. They're like, oh, she's so bright. She's 90 fucking years old, man.
Yeah,
Come
she's hanging on
already.
because they don't want a Republican to fill her spot. So she's trying
Well,
to
the
hang
thing
on.
is- The thing is, though, she may be pretty bright, but let's just be honest. Nature's taking its toll on everyone. And around 90, you shouldn't be in control of our fucking Supreme Court. You should be fucking eating
Yeah.
mush at a fucking old folks home. And besides, back to the original, this country's gone to shit in the last 40 years. And these are the people that have been in control of it. So if they say she's bright as a spotlight, I would say they're wrong, because all those people are worthless assholes. If they weren't, then this country would be back on the top country in the world. But we're not. We're slipping day after day. We're just slipping down the tubes. And they're more worried about someone getting a sexual harassment charge because dude said he likes your ass. That's our main thing our country worries about. Oh, you said you like her ass? Oh, let's stop everything. You know what? I have one thing to say to women, and I'm not for sexual harassment at all. I totally disagree with it. Well, then keep them goddamn puppies covered up, because it always seems like you got your tits out and a man's looking at them, and now all of a sudden I'm the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? You got all this cleavage, but I'm a jerk for looking at it. Don't tell me when you got in front of that mirror, you didn't show a certain amount of cleavage to support whatever agenda you had going on for the day.
He's done nothing. I've looked to try to find one thing he has put forward that has helped America, and there hasn't been one thing I could find. Not one bill that he suggested.
I know what he did.
Nothing.
You know what he did? He breathed Lincoln's air.
That's about it. In politics, that's about the only thing close to an accomplishment that he has made. It's true. And if you were to say this to Republicans, they would get all mad because all they care about is the fact that he's a Republican. That's the only thing they care about. They only see through their little blinders. Like the other day at work, I work with all these Republican jerks. And the other day I brought something up about Kavanaugh, or they did, and I kind of interjected. I was like, but they missed my point. My point was that we shouldn't have a political operative in the Supreme Court. It doesn't matter what he did, whether he lied or she lied. He's just a political operative, and it should be a more universal person that follows the Constitution to the letter. But they only saw the fact that this woman accused him and that he was a liar, she was a liar, whole thing. They were missing the whole point I was trying to make. And when I tried to explain it to them, they still didn't understand it. It was like I was talking to a kindergarten class and trying to explain just a basic concept kindergartners couldn't understand, is what I was talking. So I was like, you know what? There's no point in me even talking. That's what I finally said. And they go, oh, yeah, it's because you got nothing to say. I'm like, well, no, it's because I'm talking to people that don't understand a damn thing.
Oh, shit. It's crappy out today.
Yeah, I'm going to watch football. It's funny, the Bears play the Colts, and they're usually on TV here all the time because we're like near Indianapolis. We're like, it's one of the closest teams to us, right?
Right.
And so every week they're on. But now this week, the Bears play the Colts, and now they're not. The Colts aren't on.
What?
It's like, it makes no sense whatsoever.
They want you have to buy it, the game? Is that it?
Well, no, you could buy the game, I'm sure. It's like, my daughter told me she bought a game because she wanted to watch the Browns the other day, and her boyfriend bought it for her, like as a treat, and it was $50. And she's like,
Might
if
as
I'd have
well
known
went
it,
to the
she's
game.
like, if I'd have known it was $50, I'd have said, dude, don't buy it. That's what she told me. For that kind of money, you go out to eat.
Right?
You know, what the hell? Who does that?
Yeah, $50 to watch a fucking football game. That's
TV.
You might, if you go to the game,
Yeah,
$50, but
that seems worth it, but there ain't no way I'm spending $50 to watch a game on TV. I mean, I know people the other day paid like $65 or something for that fight.
with
McGregor and the
McGregor?
Russian bear wrestler.
I hate that dude.
Yeah, they're all.
I like
dicks at the same
UFC. I like UFC. I like some of them guys, but
time. Huh.
he's way too arrogant. I mean, how many times is someone gonna have to kick his ass before he realizes that he ain't the baddest dude on the planet? I thought
Yeah, he thought he could
Mayweather
beat a
did
boxer
that.
at boxing.
I thought Mayweather already proved he's nothing but a bunch of bullshit.
Well, you're not going to beat a boxer at boxing.
I'd be honest with you, Mayweather could have kicked his ass in the first round, but the money isn't there for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of
I'm
a show.
Yeah.
But he held back. He could have beat the fuck out of McGregor round one. He let it go a couple rounds because it was so hyped up. If he knocked the dude out in the first round, people would be pissed.
Yeah. They
He
had
wants
to
to
get the
keep
money's worth. He wanted to play with them
Yeah.
and toy with them a little bit.
He has to keep the next fight interesting.
Well, it's these boxers, it's not only it's so much of the skill, but it's also like they've trained for so long. They have big hands and the speed they punch is like they're punching like 500 miles an hour and shit. When that thing hits you, it's like a fucking bullet. You're not going to beat a boxer boxing. I mean, I don't even care. If you're ever in a bar and you see a boxer and he wants to fight you, just don't even bother.
See, the difference between boxing and UFC, I believe, is a boxer could take a lot more punishment than a dude in UFC.
It's the rules. You're strapped into the rules of boxing, too.
Yeah.
You know, which is a very...
he's taking hard punches one after another. I mean, sure, you get punched in UFC, but not like all those punches a boxer takes in one match or whatever. So, you know, you figure 5 rounds of getting punched continuously in the face as hard as it hits you, dude.
And they're not hitting you like a regular person hits you either.
A lot of men couldn't handle one punch. Bink, they'd be down. One of those hits that they just slough off like nothing. They just got hit in the face as hard as can be, and they just keep on going. That's what it is. It's way more being able to handle a punch to the face than being able to punch, I think. Because, like I said, one hit. Ding. Most boxers probably just knock you right the fuck out. He probably could have walked in there and bink, hit McGregor with the first real punch he's ever been dished out. Knocked him right out. One hit, I bet.
It probably could have easily been. It would have been like a Mike Tyson deal. I remember buying those Mike Tyson fights.
Yep.
I spent like $100 on one. I had a whole party full of people over. It was like a giant thing. I had food. It was just a big party. We're having fun. It was over in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
We all looked at each other like, what the hell was that?
Tyson didn't want to get hit. He was getting tired and weird at that time. Yeah. And he's like, I'm going to go in there and just end this one. And he did. He could have done that probably a lot of times. And it probably, oh shit, this chick grazed her leg with a chainsaw.
Damn. Those things are fucking dangerous, man.
About as close as you could get. I'm watching these shows where they're building in the woods, and they just let you go. I mean, there's no code. There's no permit. They're just winging it. And I'm like, everywhere else you need a strict code on foundations and so forth, but somehow when you're on a homestead, you could just do whatever the fuck you want.
I had to go screw around with something. They're building the woods, you said?
Yeah, but there's no code. Like, I mean, they're building it proper. I could see it's good enough, but there's no inspector that comes out in the woods and says, oh, these piers are wrong and they're not deep enough or whatever. You just could build out there. I mean, where I'm at, you can't even start the job without a permit. You can't even touch a tool. These guys are building entire homes without any regulation whatsoever.
I always wondered about like that treehouse building, dude. Like, what kind of
Yeah.
is that dude pulling permits for that?
I know because I know in Chicago or Illinois, you can't build a treehouse because it's not a real foundation because it's eventually going to fall. It will. It's inevitable. So you're taking a risk every day, one windstorm, and that thing could be on the ground. So I don't know how the hell he gets away with that.
It seems like you'd have to pull permits, and sometimes I see him having to put posts and bury them in concrete.
Right.
Those must be the towns that say like out east, like in Connecticut and shit,
Yeah.
where they're like, no way are you building that in just a tree.
Yeah.
It's like.
But still, the tree is usually the main structure, and those few posts aren't going to do shit. If that tree falls over, it's done.
Yeah, I always thought that was kind of shady.
And you could see, like, well, of course, you're probably not paying close attention to the tree as he is. Like, when he's picking the tree, he's picking a healthier tree, not a hollowed out one by a raccoon or one infested with insects or so forth. But it's just a matter of time. Like, you'll see a huge tree that tips over in someone's yard that's looks fairly healthy, and it's cracked right in half, laying across cars and shit.
Yes, I think it's the ground too. Sometimes the ground gets saturated, and then the whole thing falls over even at the roots. It's like once that ground gets saturated in a certain way, then those trees just topple right over.
Oh, I remember what I was going to talk about global warming. And is it real? Of course it's real. Here's why. Because they're paying attention to the temperatures each year, and it's going up. What the fuck? How could you deny it? The thing is, it's only like a degree. It's not like 20 degrees. That's where people would. If it was 20 degrees, we'd be fucked.
We'd already be dead.
One degree is huge, and before anyone has any, I mean, the planet has been warming up by itself. Every year, the CO2 emissions are getting higher and higher, or the CO2, the particulates. There's like, before the Industrial Revolution, there was 230 particulates per million. And now it's like at 470. We've almost doubled the CO2 particulates in our atmosphere. And since the Industrial Revolution, that's a short period of time.
Yeah.
And prior to that, for thousands of years, it stayed at the between 270 and 230 range. And that was just from nature, from just CO2 seeping out of the earth and whatnot.
And from dinosaurs farting and shit.
But we've created a CO2 level that nature can't reverse. Especially, well, people don't realize how important trees are. They say, oh, we get our oxygen, whatever. It also takes the CO2 out of the air.
Well, that's the key.
So the more trees we cut down, you don't have to worry about oxygen. You have to worry about CO2. That's going to kill us first. The amount of CO2 in the environment that's not being filtered out by nature.
Well, there's these countries, like I was reading online, where there's some countries that are zero carbon. They're at the zero carbon level, I mean, if you're not at that level, you should have to pay money.
Right.
That's the key. The only thing people understand in this world is money. That's it.
Right.
And so the way to punish these people is to charge them for it. So if you want to drive a gas guzzler, then you need to be I've been writing jokes, because I was thinking when I lose my job and everything and I get down to Florida, I may try to do like one of them open mic nights or something.
Right.
And I had this one joke I was writing. It was like, yeah, I've been trying to commit suicide. My friends tell me if I had any friends that I shouldn't really joke about that because it isn't funny. But it's more the method I'm using to commit suicide that I think's funny. I'm driving a gas guzzler, and that's going to kill us all. So it's kind of like a long-term approach to suicide. Is that a decent joke?
I guess it's better for the show, but
it's like a long-term suicide. I've been writing jokes, trying to come up with them. It's like
people say it's a good thing we gave all our work to China because, look, they polluted their environment and it helped keep America clean.
Yeah.
But what they're forgetting is
that's a good idea.
It's one big ass planet, you see. So we're sharing the air part of it. So, I mean, granted, they may have polluted rivers and so forth, which also runs down and eventually works its way somewhere. It all gets mixed together.
Yeah.
But we're sharing the air. Apparently, I don't know how true this is. If you are taking the same breath of air that Abraham Lincoln took. Have you ever heard that? I don't know if I said it right.
Well, I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, there's the possibility that you are breathing the same atoms of a particular thing that that a dinosaur breathed.
Yeah.
I mean, that's possible. I mean,
there's
only so many atoms of oxygen. So
supposedly we've all been breathing air that Abraham Lincoln, I'm just using him as an example.
Yeah, or Napoleon or somebody.
Yeah. I just like using Abraham Lincoln because they use him for everything.
Yeah, because everybody knows Abraham Lincoln.
I thought a funny joke the other today, and I can't think of it right now.
Wow.
It was a trick of words. Should have wrote it down.
You got to write all that shit down on your phone. That's what I do. I like put it on a notepad because I forget it so quick. Really... I thought of a joke in the shower, and I could only remember 2 of the jokes, and I had the third one, and I was like, damn, what was that third joke?
Oh, yeah, my little dick.
It was in the middle.
I looked down at my little dick and I started laughing.
I think it was my wife left me because I have OCD.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, could you shut the door 5 times on your way out?
That's not too bad. I saw one that joke today. It said, I got in a rear end collision with a dwarf. When the guy got out of the car, he said, I'm not happy. And I said, well, which one are you?
You grumpy?
That's a pretty good one. Well, which one are you then?
I got one here I wrote. It's like, why isn't fuck one of iPhone's spell choices? It's like, once I write FU about 10 times a day, I mean, it should know where I'm going.
I was listening to talk radio on the way home. Is that against my religion?
What was it about?
Said, how come, when you're talking about racing bicycles, like you're saying, hey, I'm talking about racing bikes, and they're like, bicycles, like Neil Armstrong. There's no other name. Nobody hasn't,
Like there's no other famous person?
Yeah, but there's no new guy. They still say Neil Armstrong. Like Neil Armstrong?
Yeah.
That ain't my joke, by the way, but it's true. I don't know another biker. No, I know him because he cheated, probably. Oh, wait, he won and then cheated.
Yeah, there's got to be some more cheaters, I think, before we're going to know more.
Or we're going to need more cheating winners?
Yeah, guys who win and cheat. We seem to remember the cheaters and the scam artists and the
Bernie Macs.
The strippers. You know that famous dude who had that bunny ranch or whatever in Nevada? He died. That dude Hoff.
What?
He died today.
Damn.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I wish he was going to be our next president.
Yeah, he was running for office and shit. He just plopped dead at 72.
Yeah, he was tapping a little too much.
Yeah.
You know when that commercial says, make sure you ask your doctor if you're healthy enough for sex. Because once you have a 4-hour boner, you might be having a heart attack.
Yeah, there might be a limit to how much Viagra you can take, it appears.
Well, I mean, there's a limit to how many hours you can hump in a row probably before you have a heart attack. That's why it's designed to not last that long. Otherwise, everyone would be having a heart attack. If you're not a marathon runner, there's a chart.
Yeah.
It's got your weight and your height and everything, your age, your cholesterol level. It tells you how many minutes you should be humping. Just because the thing lasts 2 hours don't mean you should do it. You might die. Well, I guess what's a better way to go than that, though? Think about it.
Yeah, the dude had a pretty charmed life. There were some
right
pretty
on
skanky
top of-
looking hoes, though, at that place.
Well, yeah. I mean, pretty much.
So,
They probably had a lot of miles on them, too.
yeah. And that's not my cup of tea.
Right? I don't care if you've been tested. You've been pistol whipped, dipped, and flipped.
Yeah, that's not good. That don't seem like it's worth the money.
You hear the mice? Yeah, how
Is
big
that
the
what it
mice
is?
are?
You got snow?
There's my rabbit. I've been putting carrots outside, and he comes. There's a little snow left. He probably wish he had a carrot. Nice
Yeah,
warm
that
carrot.
dude, man.
Who? Oh,
You know what's funny? How they go in threes? It was like the dude who started Microsoft, he died this week, too.
really?
Yeah. It's like,
Who is he?
I think his name is Paul Allen or something.
Really? That's weird. So someone else is going to be coming up now.
He was
Wrong
only
about him?
65, dude.
I know people are dropping.
Think about
There's
that, though.
insurance.
Well, think about
wonder-
that. It don't matter
I
how
wonder
much
what
money you
lack
got.
of
That dude
health in-
had billions of dollars, and he dropped dead at 65. It's like,
Probably for the same reason.
nah, he had cancer. But it's like, there's
Oh.
going to be a third one, man, if that, if that goes in threes. Betty White, though, man, she just keeps hanging on.
Betty White.
Everybody keeps thinking it's going to be her, but no.
Right? Oh, that's nuts. Oh, she's got to be pushing 100.
Yeah.
So someone else is due, huh? All the movie stars are probably sweating. They're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that Hoff guy, was he
Maybe one.
famous? I guess he was famous if everybody knew his name. That
I
counts.
knew because I watched it on Playboy channel before.
Yeah, I watched that
Or
show.
whatever channel I was watching.
It had to be some skanky channel.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
You know, one of them, man.
It was the Family Channel.
The film. This front burner ain't working, dude. That sucks. Trying to make two damn things at the same time.
Oh. Yeah, nothing else good happened today. Your friend is on CNN right now.
My friend?
Your buddy,
Who's that?
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, Bernie!
Your buddy Bernie.
What a jackass.
Maybe he's the third one, man. He might be the third one.
Oh, God.
God.
Damn it. I wanted to make two things at once.
No, he licks his lips too much. No one's gonna vote a guy who licks his lips all the time. I'm not gonna vote him as president. That's not a good habit.
Why do you lick your lips so much, Bernie?
Yeah. I got one question for you. Are your lips dry? You ever think of Blistex? Let me get you some Blistex.
I got hit in the head somehow today because I got a knot on my head, man.
Damn.
I don't remember hitting my head, though.
Hmm.
That's the crazy part. I got glass in my head from a car accident. I never got out of there either. Kind of bugs me a little bit sometimes.
That explains a lot.
That explains it all. It's that glass that's interfering with your...
Wow.
This is
The Saudis are saying they killed that one journalist.
Yeah.
And then they said they cut him up in little pieces.
Really?
Yeah.
So you can't find them? We not only kill them, we cut them up in little pieces. So be careful the next time you buy chop suey meat.
Yeah. In case you're looking for a big piece, he's now all little pieces.
That's why you're not going to find them. At first, he's like, yeah, he said he had nothing to do with it. Remember when Trump said that? It's like, dude, I wouldn't even have said that. I would be like, well, we had a meeting and that's it. I wouldn't be telling what. Nobody believes that guy. He's like, hey, we didn't do nothing. I do not recall what happened.
I can't recall if we chopped them up in big pieces or we chopped them up in small pieces.
He looks like the kind of guy that's chopped up a few people in pieces. It's not his first one either. It's not the first one I chopped up in pieces. We do it in little pieces now. We used to use big pieces.
He's just used to chopping people up, and now that someone's pissed about it, he's like surprised. He's like, dude, we've been chopping people up for years.
Yeah, we used to do big pieces, but they're easier to find. The little ones, they degrade quicker.
We cut them up in little tiny pieces. Had to throw the word tiny in. It sounds cuter.
It sounds better when you say little tiny pieces.
Cut them up in little tiny pieces. That's how we do it over here.
Yeah, so remember that when you fuck around over here.
Yeah.
You might get chopped up in little pieces. And he acts like it's no big deal. Like, what?
You don't chop your journalists up?
What? Teach you. I wouldn't want to be a journalist over there. I'd be like, I don't know about this place.
Yeah, I'd be quitting if I think I'll head home.
I'm done with the journalism after seeing that, dude. Imagine the guy the journalist who's covering the story. Apparently, they chopped him up in little tiny pieces.
Now back to you. Back to you over in the States.
You're like, they chopped up a journalist. They're having a meeting. Who's gonna cover this story, right? Yeah, like, I think I'm quitting journalism. I'm quitting journalism today. It's your turn to take the hacking. They were hacking on him.
Yeah. Shit, that's some scary shit.
Right?
They captured it all on his Apple Watch.
Like those people that the journalists that cover the cartel members. Forget about it.
That's what he is. He's one of them cartel members.
Yeah. Who is?
The Crown Prince of Saudi.
He's a cartel member?
Yeah, that's Saudi Arabia, man. What do you think? They're probably pumping more oil in this world than... We're going to be getting $400 a barrel oil now after this. That's what they're saying.
Why? Because we made fun of the guy?
Yeah, because we're talking about sanctions and shit.
Now we're going to jack up the price of oil, you bastards.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
That's how they do it. You know it.
Yeah, God. Either we can chop up the journalists into tiny pieces, or you pay more for oil.
You ever heard of restless leg syndrome?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's real, because I think if you could cut sugar, any kind of stimulants out of your diet, that would go away. But no one ever tries that. If I drink chocolate milk, I can't sit still.
Yeah. I want a glass of chocolate milk.
Chocolate milk before you go to bed, and then you wonder why you got restless. No, it's not. It's where you can't keep your legs from moving, right? They just can't keep them. I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Who asked you anyway?
All right, I'll call you back another time.
All right, bye.